taken a nosedive with the alleged sack of their leader, Dr. Max Ndwagibe, following the rancor witnessed recently in their food over which candidate to support in the governorship election in Abia State in 2023. Today on the platform, the major actors in this crisis will be speaking to us as to what transpired leading to the crisis, especially where it should affect the living standard of Abians through good governance. Welcome once again. Let's take a breather. When we come back, you meet my guest. Stay with us.
This is Political Update. Governor Dave Umahi of Ubani State has denied the allegation that he ordered the disruption of a solidarity rally by supporters of Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi in Abakaliki, the state capital. Recall that followers of Peter Obi held solidarity rallies in several parts of Nigeria, including Umuahia, the Abia state capital, over the weekend to mop up support for the Labour Party presidential candidate ahead of the 2023 elections.
Nothing will stop us, so we are not collecting money. We don't
just a rally, a walk, a march to sensitize and conscientize the Abia citizens for them to vote their conscience, vote aright, vote P2OP in the forthcoming general election, and vote all the Labour Party candidates.
However, it was reported that the march was disrupted in Ebonyi State when police tear gassed the supporters.
Peacefully, we were conducting ourselves, and all of a sudden, the police started shooting tear gas on us, dispersing people. So many persons have been injured. A lot are in the hospital already, but we are still here as peace-loving people, and we are determined to show our solidarity to our candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. The police officer that came didn't give us any specific reason, but I heard him very clearly quoting the governor as saying that no such movement should hold today in Abakaliki.
But in a swift reaction, the Commissioner for Information, Uchenna Oji, explained that the relevant government agencies had approved the use of Abakaliki Township Stadium for a rally by the Labour Party, subject to the payment of some specified fees, but the organizers chose to empty into the streets, causing some untold hardships on the helpless citizens going about their daily pursuit.
I can tell you categorically that the governor of Ebonyi State, who is not even in the state today, is a believer of democracy. He believes in the rule of law, and he has been doing everything possible to give an enabling environment to all political parties. Then what happened in this case of Labour Party that had a rally today was that I think there were some infiltrations by some politicians who were rejected in other political parties. They came to Labour Party. Of course, it's a squabble of who will be in charge. I think that was what caused that very situation of uproar, and the police had to come in.
The state government is calling on the security agencies to arrest the spokesperson of the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, Ikenga Ugochinyere, over alleged hacking of the server of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and forgery of a lawyer's signature and stamp used to file a secret court action in the Federal High Court in Owerri to stop the use of biometric voter accreditation system, BVAS. The Imo State government, through the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Declan Emelumba, made the demand in Owerri while reacting to the allegation of inflating voter registration by Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma and INEC.
The security agencies should, as a matter of urgency, move in now and arrest Ugochinyere, who incidentally is a PDP candidate in the 2023 elections, so that he can tell them how he came about fictitious figures he has been banned. As we said, it is curious that Ugochinyere could brazenly brandish spurious documents all in the name of doing a yeoman's job to rubbish the Imo State government.
FM News had reported on Thursday that spokesperson to Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere, alleged that there were moves to use a secret court action to stop the use of the bimodal voter accreditation system machine in the upcoming 2023 general election.
We believe that Nigerians deserve to know the kind of party that is running the affairs of our nation and the imminent threat that can destroy the 2023 general election. We are going to speak today on this compromise of the voter registration exercise, the secret court process to stop the use of BVAS for the 2023 general election, an advanced plot to cause leadership changes at the highest level of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. It is a monumental compromise of the National Voters Register by chieftains of the ruling.
It was Political Update. I am Wisdom Thomas.
All right, thank you so much, Wisdom Thomas, for that update. Like I told you, we'll be looking at that crisis rocking the Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council. Of course, recently they've been emerged with so many crises within their fold as to who should be supported ahead of 2023 governorship election in Abia State. That's what we'll be focusing on our attention this morning. And I have joining me virtually a member of the Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council, Sir Don Ubani. Thank you so much, Sir Ubani, for joining me on the program this morning.
It's my pleasure, as always.
Okay, before we start, let's just take this breather. When we come back, there are so many issues you need to address as regards to this crisis within Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council. Just stay with us. All right, welcome back to the program. Like I told you, we are going to be speaking with Sir Don Ubani, who is already, joining me virtually right now. Welcome back to the program, Sir Ubani. Now, I want to know exactly. Tell us why are you having rancor within Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council? What actually is the problem?
Thank you very much. In the first instance, I want to make it very categorically clear that there is no rank or no crisis in Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders. The only thing is that the council took a decision, and maybe out of reasons based known to an individual. In fact, I don't need to talk in tongues. Out of reasons best known to Dr. Maxwell Ndwagibe, he decided to be funny. A decision we took that once someone from Umunna Tongwa in Abia Central emerges as the gubernatorial candidate of People's Democratic Party, PDP, that all of us will unanimously give our support to that person. It was a resolution we took. And eventually, as it will please God and the people, Professor Ikonne emerged as the governorship candidate of PDP in Abia State. And of course, interestingly, as expected, from Umunnato area of Abia Central, Umunnato Ngwa. The same March, on Wednesday, that day was Hanunkwa Market Day.
Okay.
6th of April, he invited members of the council to his country home at Mbasi, that since Professor Ikonne has emerged as governorship candidate of the party, that in line, in tandem with our earlier resolution, that whoever emerges as the PDP candidate of PDP, as long as he comes from Umunnato area, that we will adopt him. In his house, he gathered us and also invited Professor Ikonne. When he came there, the message was clear. He told him that he invited him to let him know that Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders had earlier taken a decision that whoever that emerges as the PDP candidate of as the governorship candidate of PDP in Abia State, as long as that person comes from Umunnato Ngwa area of Abia Central, that person automatically becomes our consensus candidate.
So I don't know, Bani, but just hold on a bit. If that's the case, so is it right for us to say that this particular Elders Council was formed strictly for endorsement of PDP candidates ahead of 2023 election?
Honestly speaking, I don't just rig my rule. I don't hide my feelings. I don't see the truth. I'm afraid to say this is the truth. What gave rise to the formation of Umunnato Elders Council was to make sure that we will complete 16 over 16. When I say we here, I'm talking of the people of Old Aba Division, that is Ukwa La Ngwa. So we said our brothers of Old Ben haven't done more than 16 years as governor in Abia State, that equity, justice and fairness will simply determine, it will dictate that those of us from Ukwa La Ngwa should also do 16 years. So that was our motto. That was our vision. That was our philosophy. And when that happened, when Professor Uche Ikonne emerged victoriously on the platform of PDP, and of course, you know that in politics, you don't easily swim. It is not advisable to swim against the tide. PDP is the ruling party in other states. Interestingly, the governor is also from Ukwa La Ngwa. So it will be quite unwise thinking of another party when we know that it is going to meet with a lot of obstacles. So that was the decision we took. And when Professor Uche Ikonne came to the house of Dr. Max Ndwagibe on the 6th of April 2022, the message was clear, the mission was clear, the purpose was well defined. We adopted him. So it was quite surprising, shocking. Well, I wouldn't say surprising, because Dr. Max has his antecedents.
Okay, now, Sadon Ubani, before you go ahead, let us also look at the Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council. So it would be right for us to say it's an annex of the PDP as a political party. Is that correct?
It will be very, very wrong for you to think in that parochial manner.
No, because if you say that it was set up initially to support whoever that will emerge from PDP, so is it correct now for you to say it's not? Because I know that, Ubani, just hold on a bit. I know that you've been with Dr. Max Ndwagibe on this platform, especially to champion the cause of the Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council. And I have listened to Dave Max, and he has always said that this particular council is non-partisan. So if it's actually non-partisan, at what point did you now become, or you resolve to support whoever that will emerge under PDP?
Well, the day Dr. Maxwell Ndwagibe told you that the party, the council was not partisan. Yes, I was there. Yeah. We wouldn't be partisan, but that does not mean we cannot focus our attention on the area we would give impetus to in terms of selection of who becomes the next governor. So we said at the initial, are we going to, assuming we had formed the Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders and decided to run against the interest or the choice of the ruling party in the state, would we achieve our aim? You see where there are possibilities of success, and you align yourself with that area of possibility. That is what we did in Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders. One, at the initial, I told you that the essence of that formation was to make sure that someone that will be the next governor will be from Ukwa La Ngwa, especially with particular reference to Umunna Tongwa area of Ada Central. So the council was not set up to be partisan, but the council was set up to be to cover the interests of Ukwa La Ngwa.
Okay. Now, tell us, are you also aware of the meeting with the candidates of PDP and YPP as the meeting they held with Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council?
Where?
I don't know. They said you had a meeting with PDP and YPP candidates, and Dave Max was also there too.
Yes. I don't want to give more undue publicity to that meeting because of the venue where the meeting took place. Maybe Dr. Max had approached a very highly placed and credible man of God to make provision for a venue for that meeting to hold. So I was in that meeting, if that is the one you are talking of.
Yeah.
Because you said if I'm aware of a meeting with other candidates,
yes,
you know there could be many meetings. But if the one you are talking of is the one that was held under the auspices of a highly placed man of God, I would say I will be there. I was there. And what happened? In fact, the essence of that meeting was not made known to me. It wasn't made known to me. When I went to that meeting, my thought was that since we had already taken a stand that the next governorship candidate of PDP that had emerged, Professor Uche Ikonne, has been adopted by Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders, that we were only going there to speak to our brother my very good brother and friend, Engineer Nana Nwafo, that he could now at least give up his ambition, knowing that he's a young man that is favored by good education, connections, and of course, I know age is on his side. That since PDP has chosen Professor Ikonne, and that the council had also adopted him, that he could leave his ambition for now. So when we got there, I saw a different thing that Dr. Maxwell Ndagibe was doing. I felt that the man maybe had some ulterior motives. And at the end of when the two candidates left the venue of the meeting, I spoke very strongly, vehemently, that this meeting was quite at variance with the essence, with what I know the council stands for. That having already adopted Professor Ikonne, there was no point coming here to subject them to unnecessary interview. And meanwhile, I told them that from every indication, based on the performance of Professor Ikonne, that depicted maturity, experience, and clear vision, that he was bound to be the next governor, that we should all support him. But eventually, Max had a different opinion.
Okay, so as it stands now,
so it started creating confusions everywhere.
Okay, so as it stands now, I understand that the Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council has actually endorsed the PDP candidate, just like you rightly pointed out here. Now, tell us, what are the yardsticks? What are the yardsticks for such endorsement?
One, in the first instance, the yardstick, the basis include one, Professor Ikonne is from Umunna. That is one. Two, Professor Ikonne is eminently qualified, a former vice chancellor, a distinguished vice chancellor of Ida State University. We believe, as the case is, that he has a lot of experience. His trajectory at Ida State University, where he came up with the mantra of our story must change. The story at Ida State University actually changed. He is a man that has vision. When he spoke to us, and his speech was quite convincing. He touched on many things that were pragmatic, not things that bordered on theory. Something that you know is doable, something that you know is practical, not necessarily things that could be utopia. So it was based on that we said he is the candidate of Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders.
Now, this endorsement, tell us, does it really have the blessings and support of all the members of the Elders Council?
Well, you see, we are in a democratic setup. If you have a membership of, say, 100 persons, and about 80 persons say this is what our stand is on a given issue, I think that is quite an overwhelming endorsement. You don't expect that in a society of about 100 persons that those 100 persons will all give their support. No, you must have people who have a different opinion. And when you look at their opinions, you will see from where they are coming. But I want to tell you that about 95% of the totality of membership of Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders gave that endorsement and are still giving that endorsement. And by God's grace, Professor Ikonne is going to be the next governor. Okay,
but let us talk about. We've also had the issue of some people being, induced to support a particular candidate. So these people that have actually endorsed Professor Ikonne of the PDP within your fold, I mean within the Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council, what happened? Were they induced as well?
They were induced. Are you saying that some people were induced?
Yes.
Well, as long as Ukwa La Ngwa Council of Elders is concerned, I am the face of that council by virtue of being the deputy leader and director of media and publicity, I want to tell you that everybody came out of his or her volition to get integrated into that council, and the objective of that council is something that is known and acceptable to all of us. And when you believe in a cause, you don't need any external person to ask you, this is what you should do. So the issue of inducement is neither here nor there. All of us, about 95 or more percent of those of members of Ukwa La Ngwa that support Professor Ikonne did it out of our own, not only volition, but conviction and strong belief.
Okay, so maybe because Dr. Max Ndwagibe didn't agree with you, that's why he was allegedly removed as the chairman and leader of Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council. Is that correct?
To be honest with you, it was Dr. Max Ndwagibe that even invited us for the endorsement of Professor Ikonne. So for him to have reneged later, only God knows why he decided to be odd, to play an odd character. It is quite unfortunate that he's at his age, that is almost 80 years, he has now made himself an object of caricature. It's quite unfortunate. I pray that
Sir Don, let us be temperate with our words. You know, let us just deal with it. Yes, deal with the issue on ground.
I'm sorry. I said it is unfortunate that he now decided to veer off from a roadmap he had earlier created.
So now that you have expelled or rather suspended Dame Max, so who is the leader of Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council?
Now, before I tell you who the leader is, you know, we issued a statement, a communique at the end of our meeting after his suspension. So the thing was here in the public domain on His Excellency Chief Eric Achomakama is the leader, I'm the deputy. But the most important thing is that Max was expelled for two reasons. One, misconduct. Inconsistency in leadership. Two, all this time we've been in the council, of course, you know, no council runs without money. People were making contributions here and there. Even when we had a youth summit by Ukwa La Ngwa youth at Ngwa High School, a lot of money was contributed. And for only God knows why, or he alone knows why, he decided not to be open in the financial management of the council. And we are saying that, please, for goodness sake, to save his image and name, you should come and give us account of all the monies we raised, we contributed, and gathered from friends and well-wishers of the council. So if he does that today and he proves himself transparent and honest, nobody will hold anything against him.
All right. Let me sincerely thank you, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the Governor and the member of Ukwa La Ngwa Elders Council, Sir Don Ubani.
I hope you know I didn't speak in my capacity as Deputy Chief of Staff.
Well, I did not introduce you as the Deputy Chief of Staff. I'm just doing that now. Thank you so much, Sir. Thank you so much, Sir Don Ubani. Thank you. All right.
Well done.
Thank you. Well, that's the situation here. We'll take a breather. When we come back, we'll be having Dr. Max Ndwagibe speak to us, especially on this particular issue. So many allegations here and there. We'll hear from him as soon as we come back from this break. Stay with us.